Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We're outside this morning because it is beautiful, in Florida at least. And because the dog is being loud, which I'm sure you can tell. Today is Psalm 46, which I'm sure everyone knows, at least some of. It's very famous. All right, well, let's read it. It's not super long. Psalm 46. God, the protector of Zion. For the leader, a song of the Korahites according to Alamoth. God is our refuge and our strength, an ever-present help in distress. Thus we do not fear, though earth be shaken, and mountains quake to the depths of the sea, though its waters rage and foam, and mountains totter at its surging. Streams of the river gladden the city of God, the holy dwelling of the Most High. God is in its midst, it shall not be shaken. God will help it at break of day. Though nations rage and kingdoms totter, he utters his voice and the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. Our stronghold is the God of Jacob. Come and see the works of the Lord, who has done fearsome deeds on earth, who stops wars to the end of the earth, breaks the bow, splinters the spear, and burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations, exalted on the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. Our stronghold is the God of Jacob. So when I first read this, or not first, but when I read it the other day, the word that stuck out to me first was the word refuge. There's that kind of is all the way through it. It starts at the beginning and then, not the word again, but kind of the idea of a refuge as a place of safety and comfort, not like a comfy bed, but like emotional safety almost. I read more of, I have a chain Bible which will give, I probably should have brought it, that would have been nice, but which gives for verses in the Bible, it has topics and it will, like out in the margin, and it will link the topics to other verses in the Bible. So if you want to read about a certain thing, you can find that in the back of the Bible and then read through the chain for it, so the chain of verses. And the chain for Psalm 46 is called God our Protector. And here are some of the other verses and stories that it has in it. In Exodus, when God shields Moses in the rock, God our Protector. In Deuteronomy, when Moses is blessing the tribes, one of the tribes, I think it's, I forgot, maybe the half tribe of Manasseh, I don't remember, is being blessed by, with Moses. Moses' blessing is that God would be the refuge and that God would be the protector. In Psalm 27:5, which we read, where it says God will hide them in his shelter. Psalm 31 from yesterday, about that also has refuge all over it, resting in God. Proverbs 14:26 says the fear of the Lord is a strong defense. And then the last verse in the chain is Luke 8:24, which is in the middle of Jesus calming the storm on the Sea of Galilee. So I love reading those verse chains because obviously most of the time it's better to read the Bible in context, right? It's not good to just pull things out from random places. But sometimes with something like this where we're just interested in like a concept, it's really cool to just be able to quickly get the context from the whole Bible and how global these concepts and ideas about God are, and these things that God has written down for us, how true they are across the whole Bible. I'm just so reminded of, well, first of all, wow, God really is our refuge and our protector. And second of all, how true and trustworthy and steadfast God is, that this idea of God, our protector, in the same language, in the original language, and would be sprinkled throughout Scripture so much that humans can trace it with this little verse chain. So God as our refuge and our protector is a big part of resting in God, is being able to trust Him with that, which is all over this chapter. And the other thing that that was really impressed upon me in this chapter is all of the nature imagery. So if we look at it again, water is all through it, right? In the first stanza, 2 through 4, that the waters rage and foam and the mountains totter. The power of nature, we need to be protected from it by God. And then in the second stanza, that the river gladdens the city of God, that the thing that is the water that's so powerful and could hurt us, is so life-giving and such a part of God's being that it makes glad God's city, that we have that life and that joy flowing from the Lord. So His dominion over nature, the other ones, the mountains, right? The water, even in verse 10, He burns the shields with fire, is more God's power of nature over nature. The break of day is in here. God will help it at the break of day in verse 6. So this imagery of nature, nature is something that we need to be protected from. In the first stanza, sorry, someone's running over there. Nature is powerful and it's we can't control it, right? We just sit here and kind of let it, I guess, do its thing. This virus, it's that's natural, and I mean, it's biological warfare, but we don't have to go there. But things that we can't control, God can control and make them into a refuge for us, make them a source of joy and life instead of fear and trembling. Even fire, the most destructive, uncontrollable, that's what God uses to protect us from men who would try and control nature. Man is nothing against nature, right? And even less against God. Nature is nothing against God. And so in times of uncertainty or questioning or anything like that, this psalm is something that I've come back to before, and I'm now going to come back to even more, just because of how powerful these words and ideas are, that nature has absolutely nothing on us, because the God that is our refuge and our strength is ever present with us. We can take refuge in Him and rest in Him all the time. So thank you for reading with me. Have a wonderful Tuesday.